Biden is creating a Supreme Court commission to study possible reforms like packing the court. But will Biden actually change anything? Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. The U.S. Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, comprised of Americans of the highest caliber, appointed for life, able to make decisions above the political fray. What moron thought that'd be a good idea? Oh, George Washington. Well, by today's standards, he's problematic. That must be why progressives want President Biden to expand the Supreme Court by adding more justices. This is called court packing, when it should be called making the Supreme Court supremer. It sounds way cooler. During the campaign, Biden said he wasn't into it.
Well, I'm not a fan of court packing.
But last week, Biden took what could be a first step. He signed an executive order to establish a presidential commission on the Supreme Court. The commission's purpose is to provide an analysis of the Supreme Court's role, term limits, court size, and the court's case selection rules and practices. So essentially, Biden's like a school kid, passing a note to this commission asking, should I pack the courts? Yes? No? Maybe? Circle 1. This commission has 180 days from its first public meeting to report its findings to the White House. Creating this commission fulfills a promise Biden made last year during his campaign.
If elected, what I will do is I'll put together a national commission bipartisan commission of scholars, constitutional scholars, Democrats, Republicans, liberal, conservative. And I will ask them to, over 180 days, come back to me with recommendations as to how to reform the court system because it's getting out of whack. The way in which it's being handled. And it's not about court packing. There's a number of other things that our constitutional scholars have debated, and I'd look to see what recommendations that commission might make.
Wow. With riveting campaign promises like that, I have no idea how the last election wasn't a total blowout. Biden's commission has 36 members. They come from across the political spectrum. But a lot of conservatives are upset about Biden's commission because the majority of these 36 people are liberal. Conservatives are concerned that Biden will use the commission to make liberal reforms that politicize the Supreme Court, including packing the court with liberal justices. Meanwhile, a lot of liberals are upset by the commission because none of those 36 people are advocates for court packing. Plus, Biden hasn't agreed to actually do anything based on what the commission recommends. A law professor at George Washington University says that Biden is simply trying to appease the left while putting the court-packing scheme to death by commission. Hey, Death by Commission is my favorite new wave band. I especially loved their first album, Bureaucracy Rocks. Their concerts are the best. Everyone just falls asleep. Now, back in 1983, Biden called court packing a bonehead idea. He called it boneheaded because court packing puts into question the Supreme Court's credibility as an independent body. So Biden may be hoping the commission comes back saying, yeah, court packing is a boneheaded idea, legally speaking. And then, because it's a mostly liberal commission, Biden has a politically valid way to kill the court packing idea. Slate magazine, a left-leaning news site that's pro-court reform, also agrees that while Biden wants to be seen as doing something, he doesn't really want reform. To be fair, I can relate with Biden. Every job I've ever had, I always try to look like I'm doing something when secretly I'm playing Candy Crush. Ooh, level 3049. This one's tricky. Sorry. As Slate describes it, Biden is simply making the commission study issues that have already been studied to death. Studied to Death is also a great band. People just don't appreciate committee core. Slate says if Biden really was serious about reforming the court, he would have included people on the commission who support expanding the number of justices. And I say, if Biden was really serious about reforming the court system, he would have also included Judge Dredd. It's like Biden isn't even trying. Put the Candy Crush down, Joe. But one of the commission members is Michael Waldman, president of the Brennan Center for Justice. His organization advocated for judicial term limits and changing appointment methods. Biden himself, however, rejected the idea of having judicial term limits last year, saying it's a lifetime appointment. I'm not going to try to change that. But are these ideas worth considering? Should we expand the court and set term limits? And seriously, why hasn't Judge Dredd been consulted? He's judge, jury, and executioner. So efficient. We'll take a look at those questions after the break. Welcome back. Many progressives are asking Biden to pack the U.S. Supreme Court by adding more justices. After all, in the 19th century, the number of justices went up and down, from as few as 5 to as many as 10. Congress set the number at 9 since 1869, shortly after the Civil War. The court was almost expanded again in the 1930s. President Franklin Roosevelt was angry that the 9 justices kept striking down the New Deal laws he'd proposed, and they were saying they were unconstitutional. His solution? Bring the number up to 15 by adding his own people. Congress did not agree, so it never happened. FDR's attempt to pack the court was more about getting his Democratic agenda through than about making sure the Supreme Court was fair and nonpartisan over the long term. Creating an echo chamber of people that agree with you and blocking everyone that disagrees? Man, Roosevelt would have loved Facebook. And today, advocates of court packing also see it as a democratic political necessity to undo Trump's legacy on the bench. Trump had appointed 3 conservative justices, making conservatives the majority. And the Supreme Court will stay this way until 1 or 2 of them die or retire while a Democrat holds the presidency. We don't know whether that will even happen while Biden or Harris is president. But essentially, they have to wait for an old person to die before getting what they want. I'm glad the Supreme Court of the United States has the same MO as the 22-year-old who married my grandpa. The Nation says there's no progressive future without a serious fight to reclaim the judiciary from the grips of conservative judges. And it falls to Democrats to spend their years in power fixing what Republicans destroyed. But Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer warns politically driven change could diminish trust in the Supreme Court. Breyer is considered a liberal. He was appointed by Bill Clinton. But Breyer says liberal advocates for big changes to the Supreme Court should think long and hard about what they're proposing. Because if the court is packed now, then a future Republican president could just pack the court even more with their own people. It would be a never-ending cycle. Before you know it, we'd all be Supreme Court judges. Nothing would ever get done. But on the bright side, I have always wanted to go to work in a robe. But it should come as no surprise that Breyer's call for people to think long and hard about this just made people angry. He made me think. Get him! Seriously, activists are now demanding he resign so Biden can replace the 82-year-old Breyer with someone younger and even more liberal. Biden says he won't pressure Breyer to retire. No word on whether he's pressuring him to die, though. Not that Biden is even talking to him as far as we're aware. The Washington Post editorial board doesn't advocate court packing either. But they think the answer to fixing the Supreme Court is putting in term limits. Currently, justices have life tenure, meaning they serve until they die or choose to retire. The Brennan Center for Justice points out that means justices are appointed unevenly, so that some presidents have many appointments, while others have few or even none. The Brennan Center is concerned that justices can time their exits, so that presidents who share their same ideology can appoint their successors. And this has often been the case since the 1960s. Supreme Court justices retire when the politics are right. But this has made people question the court's legitimacy. when every retirement and new appointment is expected to fall along partisan lines. Say what you want about Antonin Scalia and Ruth Bader Ginsburg, at least they had the decency to die during administrations they didn't agree with. Those two were literally too legit to quit. Gavel time. Yale law professor Steve Calabresi describes the ability of justices to retire strategically as a self-perpetuating oligarchy. He proposes fixed 18-year term limits, saying it would depolarize the court and judicial selection. The Center for American Progress agrees as well, saying longer terms have led to an increasingly political confirmation process and a court more likely to be out of touch with the general public. Hold on. A group of old people that are in a position of supreme power, who work in a building that looks like something ancient Romans would find tacky, and dress like professors at Hogwarts? Out of touch? Nah. Tyler Cooper of Fix the Court argues that fixed terms would restore predictability and fairness to an institution based on predictability and fairness. He believes the Supreme Court would be less political if each president got a set number of appointments each term. On the other hand, some people say the exact opposite would happen. Supreme Court term limits would increase political tensions because they'd be an issue in every presidential election. Unlike now, when that never happens. Susanna Sherry of Vanderbilt Law School says that there are a lot of dangers that come with Supreme Court term limits. Replacing justices more frequently undermines the very purpose of the judiciary, preventing political majorities from trampling on others' constitutional rights. In theory, the Supreme Court shouldn't be in line with political majorities if its purpose is to protect the rights of everyone, including those in the minority. Plus, sudden shifts based on changes in personnel disrupt settled expectations and create difficult problems. And I think this country has enough disruptive changes in personnel already. So there's really only one solution that will please everyone. All you Supreme Court justices need to quit dying at the wrong time. You lazy bums. So what do you think? Do you think we should reform the Supreme Court? Leave your ideas below. And remember, America Uncovered is supported mainly by viewers. So visit patreon.com/America Uncovered. Contribute $1 or more per episode. We rely on your support to help us keep making episodes like this. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.